Welcome back to JTF Show. I'm your host, Jason Selton. And yes, if you watched my podcast, this is the second half of two halves of the Biden voters versus Trump voters debate. I did the first half of my podcast last recording, so hopefully there'll be a playlist that separates my show slash videos and my podcast slash recordings. With that, too, I will do the video with storming the Capitol and all that later on. When I have the chance to set everything I need to set up for my computer and all that. And that'll be my first video on my laptop, but it might get pretty delayed. So I don't know necessarily when I'm going to do it, but I will do it. I'm just gonna do like a little timeline and everything, just my thoughts in general, 2020 in a sense of a way, and yeah. So if I say BSC, that's before, before storming Capitol opinion, and ASE, ASC is after storming Capitol. I wasn't there. I watched it. The horrific act of people storming the Capitol. And let's continue and hopefully finish this video, this discussion. That's what we really need right now. Good and helpful and healthy discussion. Immature discussion.
What's for the good of the country, then became the good of the party.
I totally agree with you. I think Republicans were disgusting under Obama, and I feel the same way about Democrats now.
I understand why someone would vote for the other candidate.
BSC opinion, a little bit, not really, but a little bit. ASC opinion, no, not even close. I don't know why you would.
As far as like the trying to understand why someone would vote for Trump, people trust him as far as like being a businessman, and trying to restructure our economy in that way. So that I do understand. But then my rebuttal for that is we don't necessarily need a businessman for America. We need a leader.
I can definitely see why someone
Exactly.
would vote for Joe Biden in particular, or a Democrat in general. It's not necessarily like that people like him. It's that they more identify as Democrat. I also want to say, like, all the people that I've met that are voting for Biden, like, all good people, they're doing the best they can with what they got. Like, I think that goes for all of us.
I can understand why people would vote for Trump. I think the bigger question is, are you surprised about who would be voting for Trump? There's certain populations that make sense if you're in business. If you do feel like you've been forgotten by the Democratic Party,
then you'll be for Trump. But if you're maybe called an elitist, or if you feel like you're pretty fine, you might be a Biden voter. Not all the time, but sadly, I think most people can do a litmus test of, if you wear a mask, you're most likely voted for Biden. If you didn't wear a mask, you voted for Trump. And that's just sad. That's not for everybody. Not all people. Not all. But yeah, it's telling.
it's not
It's
actually
telling.
just voting for Trump. It'd be voting for Trump, it'd be voting for his cabinet, the same thing with Biden or his cabinet. I think it's more than just voting for the people.
In a sense of a way, yes. It just depends how you view voting in that way.
I'm looking at it from a national security standpoint. The CP is a very, very large threat to me, and my family and everything. And to go Biden, when you have your son that has received $1.5 million, and unfortunately he's not a conspiracy anymore. I can't expect you to protect us as American people. I can't understand why you would vote for somebody who won't have our best interest, who is flip-flopping constantly on whether it's fracking.
Same thing with, the president a little bit. Yeah, Biden's like, I won't ban fracking. Then he said he will ban fracking. The hardest questions for Democrats is fracking and packing the cores. For Republicans is endorsing hate or love in some cases. I think that's pretty much they're like, well, you see here, Wolf, we gotta do this. I'm not gonna actually answer your question because I don't want to do that. Like they'll be like, sure, I'll answer it, but you see here, Wolf, you see, you look right here, you see here, you see, like they don't actually answer the question. They're like, yeah, but
Whether
you
it's
know,
your support for law and order, whether it's your support for
he supports law and
things that are on the
order.
foundation,
I mean, that's
not the racist foundation, not the past, but the actual constitutional Bill of Rights foundation.
If it were anyone else, I would really truly say I totally get it. I totally understand why somebody would vote for Hillary, for Bernie Sanders, for Elizabeth Warren. I don't get it with Joe Biden. We'll talk about the system is racist. Joe Biden is the system. He was an architect of so many.
no, you gotta talk about the 1994 crime bill. Remember, Trump did something and he never he didn't apologize for it. Yeah, he does that a lot. Except Biden actually apologized for it and said that was a bad deal. But I would like to move on and which a lot of people did because guess what? Joe Biden can take responsibility. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
So many of these things,
That's
mass
true.
incarceration, the war on drugs, 94 crime bill. He wrote laws where he literally said on the Senate floor, the only thing we do not do in this bill is hang people for jaywalking.
I said this earlier. We were chatting recently. I worked on Warren's campaign. Obviously, I wanted her to win, right? Biden wasn't my guy. And he still says things that disappoint me. You brought up fracking. I wish he was against fracking, but he hasn't flipped on it. What disappoints me a lot more than Biden's maybe not perfect progressive stances is what Trump is doing right now. He wants to kick me off of healthcare. The Republican Party right now has a lawsuit, and it wants to completely invalidate the ACA, which means
it's true, and they don't really have a plan. They say they have a plan, but they actually don't have a plan. It's like with Democrats, they have a plan, but it's maybe dumb or stupid, and Republicans don't really have a plan. Sometimes that's how that goes. Like, they say they have a plan, but they actually don't have a plan. And the Democrats' plan for some things are just not going to work, or excuse my language, they're pretty cruddy, or say trashy. In some cases. Not all, but
which means someone like me, under 26, that's a freelancer, doesn't get to use their parents' healthcare plan. It means people that are on the healthcare exchanges right now, with Medicaid expansions all across this country, instantly off of healthcare. And the difference between Trump and Joe Biden is Joe Biden not only has a plan to continue the ACA and make public option to continue make healthcare more affordable, he has a plan for climate change. He has a plan for criminal justice. You might think both of those things are inadequate or they might not address the problems. But the point is he has a plan and he's willing to listen to people to make that plan. I want Joe Biden to be more progressive. And I'll fight him after November if he wins to make him more progressive. If there's anyone in the year of 2020 that could be a leader in this moment where we are all experiencing so much national trauma, both locally when we can't even go to funerals for our loved ones, but also just seeing so many beloved people die this year. If there's anyone that understands or has any empathy for what we're all going through, it's Joe Biden.
Man.
And Donald Trump has put no empathy on display. This guy got out of a hospital, immediately took off his mask and said, "Don't worry about it, it's fine." That's not what we need right now.
The ACA was a very double-edged sword. It's not about whether you have healthcare or don't have healthcare. Trump has always said that he is in favor of outlawing the pre-existing condition law. And the thing is, the ACA didn't work so well. The ACA hasn't worked so well for all of us. My parents are both cancer survivors. Their insurance got so much more expensive. They lost their insurance because of it. My mom is a survivor of brain cancer who lost the doctor that put her in remission because of the ACA. So I understand that there are good things about it. And believe me, I totally want Republicans to be much better on healthcare because you're right. I agree with you that I don't know what they're for half the time. And for me, I know this is going to be a very unpopular thing to say, and this isn't going to win me any popularity points, but honestly, I don't care about empathy right now. I will care about action. I don't care about feelings and words. I care about actions. Who has done it? And Joe Biden is just...
Okay, and I did say this a long time ago. If you're for Trump, you're usually for policies, but if you're for Joe Biden, you're most likely for personality. We need both. And if we fast and pray and just lift up Joe Biden in God's hands, I think we can get great policies on both sides and a great personality from Joe Biden. And I think that's also a reason why Trump just didn't cut it, because Christian Christian worldview perspective, we didn't pray enough in a lot of cases. And I'm not gonna get into all that, but I'm just saying. And just generally, we didn't, we didn't vote good people, to be on Trump's side, to be like, hey, hold Trump accountable. Or we tried, but Trump kept firing them. So it was like,
and it's just been so much talk with no action to back it up. When you're in office for half a century, you should be about more than words. You should have a record to run on.
I can understand somebody saying that Joe Biden sucks. I can understand that. But to then say that the Republican Party is the solution is what I'm just
that's,
by.
whoa, come on, calm down. I don't think
throw money
so.
on top and then bury you from the bottom. Just like saying diversity training is un-American. You mean just
he didn't say that. It was critical race theory he was talking about.
So I don't consider that the Republican Party is doing anything better to court voters only during an election.
I totally agree, and I would say for me, there is a huge difference between the Republican Party and Trump. When I first heard that Donald Trump was running for president, I left. But one of the things that made me start to give it a second look was the fact that both parties were seeking to tear him down so much.
So you're saying that you're more in support of Trump than the Republican Party?
At this point, yeah. And like one thing that comes to mind that I guess really shocked me and disappointed me was Joe Biden's comment several months ago, essentially saying that if you were a black person, that you had to vote for Joe Biden. And if anybody said, like, because you're a white person...
guess what? He apologized for that. But for Trump, who, what was it? It was something that he didn't apologize for. It was, I forgot the whole event. I forgot what it was called, but he pretty much didn't apologize for that. But guess what? Joe Biden kept apologizing. He kept doing responsibility. He understood that it was his fault. And Trump doesn't really do that at all. I have not heard him, well, I have heard him say sorry, but it's
Trump,
like...
Or because you're a woman, you have to vote for Joe Biden. I'd be extremely offended, and I think that's incredibly divisive.
That's one of the issues that I do see with the Democratic Party, because they are...
Yeah, they are pretty divided in some cases, like secretly. It's like this: the Republican Party's gonna say at your face that we are divided and we want white Christian conservatives only, and Democrats are like, we're for all, but yet when you actually look at it, they're only for people who agree with them. One says it outspokenly, and the other one stabs you at the back, pretty much.
They're typically the party of minorities. They do think they just automatically have, minority votes. Just as upset I was when, Trump makes his comments, I was also upset when, Joe Biden said that as well. We can't just automatically assume we have those voices because black people stereotypically are Democrat or more liberal and so on.
That was a joke he made, and he apologized for doing it because he thought it was inappropriate. And he immediately
apologized. And when Trump does jokes that might not be appropriate, he doesn't apologize. Let's be real. Well, yeah, he did apologize for that. Joe Biden did. Yeah, I remember. I mean, it was wrong, but he apologized. He's trying to be a better person.
There's a big difference between Trump and Biden.
Jokes are usually a reflection of the truth, and they love to use this term a gaffe, but I think a gaffe is really when a politician accidentally says what they really think.
True.
He didn't say don't vote for him. He said if a black person asks questions about voting for him, then they ain't black.
The reason why
I hear that? I didn't hear that. I guess I was the Fox News
thing. A myriad of different reasons. The thing that he lacks is diplomacy. And I think within the right, they think that the only way to get stuff done is to be brash and disrespectful. You don't have to be. There's a point about actual civility. You can actually not talk trash to anybody and still get jobs done.
Exactly.
People wonder why we're so divided. But I think we should also remember The economy has actually done better under Democratic rule. Does anybody remember what happened in 2008? It's like we almost forget that we're in a recession. It's almost like we forgot that the unemployment rate did drop under Obama. We also remember about climate change, Wall Street reform, DACA, right? So you're trying to pretend that he hasn't done anything. This was just on the prior presidency where he was a vice president that people are pretending didn't happen.
I think if we're going to talk about the recession, let's look at what Joe Biden has done, because he's the one who is actually on the ballot. When he was in the Senate, he removed protections that had been in place in FDR on the big banks. There was bankruptcy bill, which allowed the banks to become too big to fail and caused middle-class people to lose their home. And we all remember that Hillary Clinton was caught saying about a public position and a private position. Well, we have 47 years of seeing what Joe Biden's private positions are if you look at his actual actions. And I totally agree with you that I very much wish Trump would be more unifying and would be less bombastic, but I think he gets
like
results.
What I said in my podcast last recording.
How many times has Trump put more more gas in the fire when the NFL protested?
A lot. Because he thought throwing money at it would be okay. But no, that's not how that works. Trump. This is a Wendy's. This isn't a anyways, what I said in my podcast last recordings, I said that just because somebody does good things doesn't mean that they're a good person. Just because you do bad things doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Some people can do good things / policies and be a bad person and bad personality, and vice versa.
He could have just said, "Hey, I'm going to step out of it," but he had to go out there and say these SOBs, right? How many times has he actually not been unified? I would actually say the biggest problem we're facing today is we can't listen to each other. If you can't listen to each other, I don't care who you're going to have in office. It's going to be continually fighting back and forth. And what I've
True. That's why we need to get together. Because at the end of the day, we generally agree on a lot of things. We just disagree of how we do it. And if we actually recognize that, then this country can start healing. Like, really.
And what I've seen from the
same thing with the body of Christ. Like,
anything go. Yeah, Biden isn't the best. He gassed. He's not my most exciting choice.
Yeah.
But we're also saying that he's also anointed from God and the best presidents we've ever seen. That is the difference. We understand that he has problems.
Exactly.
But we also understand that Trump has problems as well. And we want to say, we're not going in the right direction where things are going.
For me personally, I feel like Trump's problems are in a weird, ironic way a blessing at the same time. So one of the things, he's not a politician, therefore he's not going to be politically correct. I know, I completely understand that it's not going to be necessarily the best or most popular thing to say, but it's something that needs to still be said.
But you gotta say it the right way, because you gotta know your audience. If your audience is hateful, like, maybe you should check to see why. You know? Like, that's what I have to do. That's what YouTubers have to do. That's what everybody has to do if they have an audience. If their audience seems to be something that they don't like, maybe they have to change something or go to a different audience or a different place. Because that's how that works.
He needs to take a nap.
I'm just saying this, like, all these things aren't politically correct. There's a difference between just outright making fun of every single candidate. He's a businessman. He's been on TV. It's not like he's a toddler.
When it comes to this establishment that has been running, especially if you want to look at the Black community specifically, the things that they have had in place, the things that they've been regurgitating and been feeding us as a Black community as a whole,
gotta admit,
I feel like those things need to be broken.
I'm not saying there's a Democrat plantation. I'm not going all Candace Owens here. I'm not doing that. But come on. You gotta see there's some. Come on. Come on.
Biden, whether it's Obama, whether it's Hillary Clinton, whether it's that whole little family, that has been saying what we want to hear to get them voted into office to run policies that do absolutely nothing for the Black community as a whole.
But that's just not true. I mean, when we talk about, we're going to continue to put Black people and say they're a monolith, LGBT, climate change, these are all, I understand that. I'm not defending Joe Biden. I'm just saying, it's not like Trump is the savior of Black people. One thing
Exactly. He's not the savior of Black people. He's not. And again, he only threw money at the race relations, not actually try to heal it or start the healing. Like, come on.
Because I find it also very insulting when people think the only black issues are crime bills, right? That is insulting to think that the black is just related to crime. When you think about black America, we are not a monolith, right? LGBT, climate change, DACA, all these other things that happened under Obama, right? That bailed out the auto industry. Black unemployment rate was at, 17 in 2010 and got down to 7.6. And I just want people to always think that black problems are only crime issues because that is insulting as a population. I think there's so much more than we are than just prison systems.
Exactly.
Just real quick on the education stuff we were talking about earlier. I think it's a national problem, and we really needed a national solution. What I've seen from Betsy DeVos is someone that really tries to play this divisive line, that really has no interest in growing public education, making sure that every child has the best possible education. I think, yeah, Joe Biden's not perfect, but I know he'll appoint a great Secretary of Education. I know he's going to take public schools seriously, and that benefits all of us when the generation behind us has a great education.
When I think of the state that I live in, and I look at the school systems that we have, it is specifically Republican legislation that has led to the decline and the defunding of our public schools.
Most likely in No, I'm not. Okay. I'm gonna say it's in a nice way. I think maybe some of us Christians are to blame with the whole school relations. Because most Christians are homeschool. And being honest, I think if we can fix the public and private and even homeschool, we just have good education with, again, I don't really understand the whole thing about school choice, so I can't really say everything or anything about it. But to me, what people have been saying about it seems like just, the parent chooses the school that they want to go. But I can also see the problem with that because almost every single parent would go to, like, Harvard or Oxford or LSU. Like, the best of the best. And the others just go bankrupt because of it. I can also see that. So there's just gotta be a balance. If you can afford the choice, I think you can choose. But if you can't, you should have great options of great schools. It just depends. I don't really know the whole thing about school choice and schools in general. We know it's got to be fixed a little
when we look
bit.
at Joe Biden's plan, they're
This
saying,
in general.
look, on day one, we plan on giving Title I schools X amount of money. So especially when I think of public education, and we've talked about school choice before, we have to fix what is available to all of our students at this point in time. I don't really have faith in Republicans to truly support public education and to support the needs of people. If we think of our public schools, they get money based off of like the tax dollars from the neighborhoods that you live in. Poor neighborhoods are going to get little funding. Rich neighborhoods are going to get more funding. Republicans have done nothing to stop this, but say, you know what, that's okay. Let's still give these corporations a tax cut and not let them pay an extra penny so that maybe that money could go to our public schools.
I do think that public school is not the same as education. And I think that if we're thinking about the good of students in general, choice and competition is extremely important. In any system, when you introduce competition, almost always quality goes up.
That is true, because competition means they put more effort into it. But it can also lead into other things. So you just gotta get a balance between competition and stuff that isn't. Healthcare shouldn't be a competition. We should have options, but it shouldn't be a competition necessarily. Like, here's the best thing to save your life. No, this is. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. But there should be great options depending of where you live and your culture and all that. But it shouldn't be like a game show called "Which Healthcare Can Save Your Life Better." It should be an option. It should just be optional, like not a contest. And I think that's what most people are trying to say. I think.
Goes up and cost goes down. And so I think we're doing a disservice to our kids if we're not giving them choices and if we're not allowing competition in education.
Sometimes what happens with this competition is there's still only a small subgroup of students that are actually able to choose. When we think of school choice and we say, yeah, we're going to open it up, there's still going to be second public schools who have now been left behind because we've given them a choice to go somewhere else. And we created this competition.
So I think I understand the whole school choice thing, I think, pretty much.
I think that's still valuable.
I mean, I think the public school system is obviously it's something that's been a challenge for a very long time. I think people are trying to find solutions. But like I said, I think both parties have done things. But I think our decisions of why we're making these voting decisions are multifaceted, right? I think both sides have done more for the Black community. My personal feeling is the way that the Republican Party represents the Black community isn't always the best.
This is going to sound very counterintuitive because I know his words can be a little insane. But I genuinely, truly believe that Trump has totally changed the Republican Party. I hated the old Republican Party. And all of those old Republicans that are around, they got to go. We've had so many years of the Republican Party ignoring the Black community.
Everything's okay, guys.
Worse than ignoring the gay community. And I think Trump has totally changed that. He's brought LGBT groups into the White House. He has done so many things. The role that many of us in the party now need to have.
Didn't he do the transgender ban? Wouldn't that be against LGBTQ? I'm just saying.
I am open to the other party's ideas.
BSC. Yeah, okay, maybe, sure. BSC. Sorry, ASC. No, I don't know, because if you're gonna say it was Antifa, I don't know. Antifa wasn't there at the Capitol, my friend.
I think I would do a huge disservice if I did not listen to the other side, especially in my role.
But like now, it depends, cause honestly, if I get other guests, I might have to do a litmus test. Like, okay, my questions is the Capitol, cause sadly that would be like the thing that I don't know how they are in some cases, because some people actually thought that was good. Like, what was it? I don't know if it was 50. It was a big percentage, a horrible, scary percentage of people actually agreed with the storming of the Capitol, and there were a lot of people there as well. So it's like, at this case, I can listen to your ideas. I don't know, but I don't know. That's sad to do, but
my role, I don't want to ever go.
That's sadly where we are.
Just this one opinion and not being able to listen to my other students or parents or administrators.
True. I still look at both sides. I see I still look at both sides. I still check sort of daily with Stephen Crowder. I check other things with Destiny. I do that. I don't just watch one political side. Okay?
I'm part of the walkaway movement of people who used to be Democrats and have left. One of the things I always say to them is do not become what you walked away from. So I think the worst thing we could do is buy into tribalism and groupthink. I've been a Democrat, I've been independent, now I'm a Republican. So for me personally, the moment that the Republican Party no longer represents what I think is best for my country and my values, I'm out.
I think we can all agree that...
Kind of. Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me in a sense of a way, because I used to be in the right, like really in the right, sort of like Hunter Avalo. I used to be there, like far right a little bit. And I reflect on myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have actually agreed with the story of the Capitol. Either then or that would be the wake-up call. Literally, and for real, I'm honest here. I'm not using this as a cursing, I actually mean it. Thank God I'm not so far right. I mean, I have conservative values, but also some libertarian values as well to balance it out. Okay, now not bad balance, because bad balance is an abomination to God. So, you know, I keep a good, holy balance of conservatism and libertarianism. But I'll always be a Christian first and foremost. That's why I'm a Christian conservative libertarian. In that way, kind of. Yeah. So, yeah, we will finish this later on because of time, and yeah, this is mostly going to be 2 parts. This is going to be the first part of with my video, then the second one, the one that we do after this one, will most likely be the last one. So, yeah, God bless, have a great day.